Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff Miller. I am the 2022 Legislative Action Committee Chairman.
Could I interject real quick, Jeff? I just realized this is the first meeting of the year that you're running and doing, and I want to properly introduce you to everyone. And I apologize for this.
That's
I just
okay.
realized. We are so honored and privileged to be able to have a gentleman handle our advocacy as far as our committee and all the volunteers like you that are all of you that are plugged in today. Jeff has been in our town for a number of years. He had served on the city council. He served as the mayor. He was on the Parks Commission, a lot of stuff locally. And then he took a step up to the state assembly and he governed and did things in such a dynamic way, always focusing in on what's best for the residents and the business community. He's very level-headed and a tremendous individual. He owns his own insurance business here in town and has assisted many people in multiple different ways. And it is our pleasure to be able to welcome him as our chair, and he will be our moderator on all of our weekly calls during this year. Please welcome the Honorable Jeff Miller.
Thank you, Bobby. Am I blushing? Thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be able to do this and work with the chamber and bring very, very important material to the membership that truly impacts their daily activities of life or their businesses. So it's hard to believe that we're already in 2022. I was joking with my wife the other night. It seemed like yesterday we were talking about remember Y2K? And the whole everything was going to blow up and we're off the edge of the cliff. Anyways, I'm diverting a little bit, but anyways, so time's flying and we're going to have an exciting year. And like I said, I'm just honored to be able to help out and provide a little perspective to things. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Before we jump into the matters at hand, I want to thank Kim Maybon for her year last year of not only just being the chairman of the board, but hosting these weekly meetings. And so she did a phenomenal job. And it's important, I think, that we recognize that, she took that important time out of her day to be able to do these meetings. She owns a company called Creative by Design, and my personal opinion, she does some of the best graphic artwork that I've seen. So thank you, Kim. Okay, here we go. Today's sponsor is CNC Development. CNC Development is a full-service real estate development company with over 30 years of trusted experience. CNC works closely with city staff to effectively utilize and leverage available funds to meet affordable housing production requirements, as well to achieve redevelopment goals related to neighborhoods and specific properties. They are committed to the enhancement of the communities in which they build by promoting superior architectural aesthetics and economic vitality, and by active participation in community service and affairs. Thank you, CNC Development, for sponsoring this meeting. And I'd just like to put a commentary on that. In working with CNC Development on the city council, there really isn't a more concerned or just incredible developer that has built so many projects in town that are of high quality. So thank you, Todd Cottle, and to your team for sponsoring today and the work that you do in our community. So there's a chat button. Please send all the questions to Chamber Host if you want, or me, or Bobby, and we'll get those questions asked at the appropriate time. Now, I would like to introduce Stephanie Shapiro. She's the big cheese here today. She is the big cheese. She is the Vice President of Communications and Events. So go ahead, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I love that we are starting off January with this huge love fest. It's like, just, I feel it. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you today and share with you some updates on what's going on in the chamber world. There's always so many things happening. It's easy to miss something. So I'm going to go through things pretty quickly, but Anthony's going to end up putting links for things in the chat. And if you have questions anytime, just feel free to give us a call at 951-CHAMBER and we'll hook you up with whatever the need may be. Okay. So first thing I wanted to share about is, since we're on this legislative call, you guys are obviously in tune with the law and wanting to know what's happening. We have ordered the 2022 California and federal employment labor law posters. These are required by every business with even a single employee to be posted. And due to some delays in the legislature and approving of verbiage, we don't physically have them in hand yet, but they are available for pre-order. Wanted to let everybody on the call that's a member know that one will be sent to you at no charge for being a member of the chamber in English. And we will also have additional English ones and Spanish posters available here at the office as well. So as soon as those are in, we will let you know and get those out to you. Next up, I wanted to share about a few things we have coming up. Something very special is happening tomorrow that Bobby's going to share about, but I'm going to jump to next week. So there is a program that we partner with the City of Corona on. It is free to attend. It is called Coffee with an Entrepreneur. And this is an informal chat with an entrepreneur that shares their story on how they got to where they are, successes that they had, maybe some missteps that they maybe wish they could do over or that they overcame to be successful in their business. So it's really interesting to be able to hear their story, glean from their tips, and ask questions one-on-one. Our featured entrepreneur this month is Jamie Sheldon, and he's the founder and owner of NatFit. He has a very unique way that he's formatted his business, and he is so excited to share it with you all. He has a supplement and wellness company. He's also a professional arm wrestler. So if you come here physically this coming Monday to the chamber office at 8 a.m., he's going to be giving away product. He's going to have that table here. You can challenge him to a match, and it's going to be a great day. We will also stream that on Facebook Live as well. So pre-register if you plan to attend in person, and we'll see you there. Next up, I'd like to share about the Installation and Awards Gala. This is coming up in 2 weeks, but you actually only have 1 week left to get your tickets. So it's super critical that we bring this to your attention right now because we don't want you to miss out. And as we go through the year, you're going to hear me say, oh, this is my favorite event, or this is so wonderful for whatever reason, but this legitimately is my favorite event. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it is an evening where we are simply celebrating. We have prizes to give away. We are honoring businesses and individuals for the incredible things that they've accomplished. There are people that are being honored at this event that every single person on this call knows, but I doubt that you know the full depth of what they've accomplished and what they're working on or have achieved. It's mind-boggling. We've learned so much in the time frame of selecting these winners through the nomination process. There's write-ups on them in the January, February issue of Corona Business News. So we encourage you to open up your copy if you've let it sit in your mail, or come to our office and get some extra ones, because they're amazing and the evening is going to be phenomenal. It's a great chance to dress up, come be with your friends, meet some new ones. This is a definitely who's who event. There are people that come to this event that don't come to anything all year long, and they do that because they enjoy it and because it's an opportunity to mingle with peers that you respect, high-level executives, and it's just going to be a great evening. We've got a Bollywood theme, and we hope that you're there. Tickets are on sale now, like I said, for 1 more week. We also have prizes that we're giving away, opportunity drawings. We've got a 70-inch TV, Fender guitar. You could get a car wash a month for a year, dinner for 2, for a month, for a year, gift cards. I mean, possibilities are endless. So I'm going to say now, I'll see you all there. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you, if you were on the call early, Anthony had introduced one of our new team members, Michelle. She just started on Monday. We're so excited to have her as part of the team. We also have a couple other members that we wanted to highlight today on the call, and that's our membership development coordinator and our advertising and marketing specialist, Robert and Tammy. They are here to take care of any needs related to membership, whether you want to upgrade your membership, you want to refer a member, if you would like to sponsor an event or learn more about what that means. Ways to market your business within the avenues that the chamber has available for you, or if you have ideas about new avenues, these are the people you want to talk to. So their contact information is on the screen, and I encourage you, if you haven't started that relationship with them, to give us a call and we'll connect you. And with that, I have more than taken my time. I thank you all and can't wait to hear the legislative update today.
Stephanie, you did a marvelous job. Marvelous job. We have so much information now in our heads. I'd like to ask the CEO, Bobby Spiegel, to say a few words before we get into our meat of our program with Jeff Gibson. Bobby?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeff, and I appreciate everyone that's on the call. I want to invite all of those on the call as a last reminder that the Chamber is hosting a lunch and learn on economic development tomorrow on January 6th, 11:30 to 2 o'clock. We have invited and are bringing out Mo Collins, the founder of Entrepreneurial Communities. She's a well-known presenter, facilitator, author, and expert specific to economic development. You'll see on the slide some of the things that she's going to be covering. She is extremely intelligent, point-driven, and will enhance your knowledge during the 2-hour times that she will be with us. We will start promptly at 12 o'clock, but at 11:30 we'll be having a check-in and then networking and lunch. But for the 2 hours, she's going to cover those topics there. It is a great opportunity. Please register today by noon. You can also just put into the chat to either Anthony or myself, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. I know there's a lot of stuff that Mr. Gibson's going to be sharing today, so I don't want to take any time with questions. But if you're interested, please put it in the chat to the Corona Chamber or to me, and we'll get you taken care of. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Bobby. If the group doesn't mind, I'd like to just go off agenda for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and have our mayor, Wes, speak. Just say hi, and he's our new mayor for the upcoming year. And I thought I'd just ask Wes to give us a few comments and say hi to everybody, if he's there. I just put him on the spot. He didn't know I was doing this.
Thanks, Jeff. No, I'm happy to be here. Normally, I have a conflict at this time, so it's been fortunate the last couple of times I've been able to make the call, and it is well worth it. I tell a lot of people this is a call you should make. Jeff always gives great information, both Jeffs, and it's always good to hear everybody and see everybody's faces, which is always a nice thing. I want to welcome everybody to 2022. I'm hoping it's not going to be a repeat of 2021. And I think we're off to, at least it feels like we're off to a good start. In the Chamber Corona magazine that was put out last month, there's a really great article that I contributed to that has a lot of the information that the city, the things the city is working on. Our strategic plan kind of gives you an update of kind of where we are and where we're going, and it's a good read. So there's a lot of people that are pulling for all of us to succeed, and I'm very pleased about the direction, and looking forward to having this same conversation at the end of the year and being very positive. But thank you guys so much. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Wes. We really appreciate you coming on. With that, I'd like to get into the meat of the matter and introduce Jeff Gibson. Jeff is our, actually, I just wanted to step off agenda real quick for one short thing. I noticed that we have 2 nonprofits. I might be missing one, but I see Annie Bradbury on the call, and Danny McCarnes from Peppermint Ridge, and Annie from 100 Mile Club. I just want to thank you guys for coming on the call. With having our people don't recognize how important the nonprofits are in our community. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to be part of this. And I hope we can get more nonprofits involved, because there's so much good work that the business community and nonprofits do together. And this will provide another avenue to educate people and find new ways to work together. So thank you for coming on. With that, I'd like to introduce Jeff Gibson. Jeff has 4 decades of legislative, political, government affairs experience, working in Sacramento, working in Washington, D.C. He has worked extensively on projects like the 9115 freeways. He was father of Jessica's Law back in 2006, I think. 2006. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's worked specifically in endangered species matters and issues, as well as water conservation. His company is called Occidental Communications Group, and we're just thrilled to have Jeff part of our morning meeting. Take it away, Jeff.
Well, thank you. Thank you, guys. Welcome to 2022. It's neat to be on a Love Fest to start this off, and wherever you're logging in from, hopefully you're in paradise somewhere, but being in Corona is pretty close to that. So one of the things that I wanted to welcome, I know Senator Roth has a new field rep on, and one of the things I wanted to underline for everybody is we all understand that we're in California. We all understand that we're in Corona. We all understand that that we have a commitment as a state to a number of different issues. We look at that from the perspective of an employer, but as an employer in California. So we're not, and we've had members who have moved to other states. We've had members that have come into our state. Our current board chairman, our incoming board chairman, moved here from out of the country. So we have all chosen and continue to choose to be here in California. So when we're looking at policy and the bottom line impact for your business, we don't look at it from a partisan perspective. We don't even look at it from a policy perspective. We look at it from a perspective of what you're going to be facing on next, the moment you turn off this call, the moment you step out back into the community. These are the things that are coming, and these are the things that we are trying to support you on. So with that, want to talk about a bill that you're hearing a lot about, and over time will have an impact on your business. Probably not immediately. If you're a waste management customer like I am, you received an 8-page mail piece on how SB 1383, it always cracks me up. They send out an 8-page glossy mail piece to tell you that they're going to help with climate change. Okay, but what about the acetate and all the other things that went into this mail piece? But the goal here is as part of the climate change goals, and we have participated both in arguing for and against some of those goals. We participated in it through Corona 2020. We are going to be participating in it again in Corona 2030, which are the only private-public partnership to drive down vehicle miles traveled and emissions as measured by third parties. So we're in this world. But SB 1383 is trying to get, and this is the challenge and the criticism that we have of state government, is a lot of times there are great sounding things that rattle around in the Capitol, but in reality, they have very little impact on things like climate change. But SB 1383 is the law. It was passed. It was signed into law by Governor Newsom late last year. And what it is going to require is that California reduce 20% of its organic food waste. If you are a waste management customer. Like I said, I am. In Orange County, we have 3 different cans, and we may, depending upon how the strategy goes here, we may be getting a 4th can. That 3rd can for us is for organic waste, for yard waste. And we are going to be encouraged, at least now, to also add to that organic food waste. And while it's being called a composting idea, the challenge that they're trying to get at is the methane production that comes out of anaerobic food, anaerobic organic material breakdown. One of those things that comes out of that is methane. That's one of the components that breaks down a number of the key gases that we need to combat climate change, as the theory goes. And so this is what we're going to be doing. Now, the net cost to the state is tremendous overall, going into 2023, 2024, 2025, and beyond. While the net impact is we're removing about roughly 0.5% of the state methane production, natural methane production, and we're going to be relying on unproven technology to achieve that. So 1, it's the law, so we have to comply. 2, the challenges here with this policy is, again, we're trying to come up with a way to capture the natural production of gas that we feel, based upon some available scientific evidence, that methane is a component that is causing the climate to change, generally seen as the climate to warm. And so that's the thing that we're trying to get at. The net cost is going to be that you are going to be having a 3rd and perhaps 4th trash can that you will be responsible for filling with your food waste. Now, the net effect of that is, and I'm not speaking on behalf of waste management, but as we know, given that Asia is now no longer taking California and American plastic waste for recyclables, they're using it for energy production, which, of course, anyone who has ever burned a plastic bottle in a fire at a camp out knows you're going to get some nasty things coming out of that fire. So imagine on a mass scale in a country that is not as careful about its emissions as California, what's happening to your plastic waste that we go through the effort of putting into a separate can. So the intention is great. The problem here is in actually enacting the policy. And that's what we're going to be tracking for you, because it's going to be a cost. And we're going to be advocating that policies like this be either delayed if the technology is not available, or modified so that we don't have to go through a practical matter. One of the practical matters that we've talked about for a number of years is currently being taken up in Europe by all of the European signatories of the Paris Accords. And as you remember, in 2020, during the presidential campaign, it was a major issue of whether or not the United States should be part of the Paris Accords. We just finished in Glasgow, Scotland, a climate change conference. Well, all of the European members of the Paris Accords in that climate change conference have gotten together over the holidays and decided that, and I'm just reporting this to you, that natural gas and nuclear energy are going to be primary components of how the rest of how Europe meets its climate change goals under the Paris Accords. That is obviously, for anybody who has ever grown up, read a newspaper, or interacted with another human being on government policy, is a major, major change in the way we look at battling climate change. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know of anybody. I remember, I'm old enough to remember in California when we turned off the San Onofre nuclear power plant. which removed 8%. So 1 out of every 12 electrons coming out of your light socket right now used to come from the San Onofre nuclear power plant. And there was no major baseline replacement for that energy. Diablo Canyon up in Northern California is about to go offline permanently, leaving California without any sort of nuclear mix. To give you an idea, at the time San Onofre went offline, 16% of our power was coming from nuclear energy. You took half of that away when we put San Onofre offline. Currently, 16% of our energy production within the state is nuclear energy. They didn't double the size of Diablo Canyon. We just no longer produce that energy within the state of California. So then you ask, well, wait, we're putting a lot more into electric cars, electric utility, all sorts of appliances. There are now requirements if you are doing a major home repair in the state of California that you replace all of your natural gas equipment within your home. So where does that energy come from? And on this slide, you'll notice the first slide we have here, it comes from coal. That's right, coal. So we got rid of nuclear energy, which used to supply 60% of the energy for Orange County, half of the energy for San Diego County, half of the energy for Riverside County, and never produced a carbon atom doing it. And the state of California for the last 3 months has been seeking and getting from the Biden administration a dispensation so that we can vastly increase our purchase of coal energy to get us through the winter months. And there is no longer a time frame in which that will change. This is a concern to anyone who is interested in climate change because coal is not helping us reach our goals. This is a concern for us as a state and as an organization that we're not being authentic in saying that we want to achieve a goal and then going out and using coal energy. In the meantime, that's the same concern that we have about SB 1383. If we can achieve the state aim without bankrupting everybody, that's great. But if we have to go out and get that coal energy, as an example, you may remember this time last year when the state of Texas was going through a gigantic freeze because their solar panels, because it ended up being unseasonably cold, and the solar panels that they were relying on and the wind energy that they were relying on was actually frozen. The state of Texas asked for the same authority that the state of California has in going out and buying any energy that was available on the spot market. The Biden administration turned them down and has routinely turned down states that are facing a severe climate-driven emergency, but has given California kind of a blanket nod on that. So that's something that is interesting to us. It's something that's disappointing that we have to rely on that as a state because we have worked so hard. I know Bobby stays up late at night wondering where the next electrons are going to be coming from. So yeah, I can see him nodding. So, but in any case, so on to the next slide, if we could, Anthony. So the 2022 labor market report. So our statistics here come directly from the Department of Labor, and there's two different statistics to look at. And so what we're trying to describe to you is pretty much what you are generally going to be finding, or what you hope to find when you open your newspaper, when you look through media to try and understand where you are in the economy and which way the economy is moving. The state of California was declared by the Federal Department of Labor Statistics to be the second toughest state to find a job in. I know that is not a beauty contest that we ever want to win, But as you can see from this map, that is an analysis of that, that there are a number of states that it is difficult. The black and purple are the states that are very difficult to find a job. And that is as a measure of people that are unemployed versus the number of jobs available. In the state of California, there are 80 jobs available for every 100 people that are reported to be unemployed. And so that is a thing that going forward, where you're seeing throughout the United States, generally there are more jobs than there are people available to fill them. In the state of California, that is not the case. And actually not even close to being the case. It's 20% off. So the second one is a fairly amazing statistic taken over the last year. So we've been told from the very beginning of the year that the unemployment rate is dropping, whether it moves in a positive direction or not, that the unemployment rate continues to drop and drop and drop and drop, depending upon whether we have a big job creation month or not. And so then you go back and then you look at these interesting statistics, like the IRS declaring this year that unemployment benefits are not going to be tax deductible. They're going to be taxed as if you were employed. That is a change. So congratulations, you were unemployed. You were receiving less than 10% generally of what you were receiving as an employed person. And the federal government is going to be taxing those as well. So while the labor market itself, people that are available to work in the United States, is down substantially from its early 2020 peak before the lockdowns began, the 25 million people last year participated somehow in the unemployment benefit system. So they either applied for or received some sort of unemployment benefit. So and you don't get into that system unless you're doing it fraudulently. And we know that there is no fraud. Anyone who was on the last call in December knows that there is no fraud in that system. Bobby can sing chapter and verse on there being no fraud whatsoever. So actually our last call, if you weren't on it, was about how there was over $100 billion in fraud in the unemployment system in the last year. But there were 25 million individuals that received assistance from the unemployment benefit system at a state and national level last year. That means that there was, out of 160 million people that are employed, 25 million seems a little bit higher than the reported unemployment rate of 4.4%. 4.4% of 160 million works out to about 5 to 8 million people. But somehow 25 million people. Now, obviously, we know that there's a rolling average in that, but that's a lot of people that have been unemployed. On top of that, just since October 1st, 13 million people have decided to voluntarily walk away from jobs that are currently existing. So that is a large and unprecedented number in American history, to have 13 million people voluntarily resign their jobs. Now, some of that, they're moving to a better job. That number, the portion of that number is not unprecedented. It's staying about the same. But to have 13 million people leave, then you have to ask yourself, well, how did we get to 4.4% unemployment? Well, we no longer count discouraged. That's an actual economic term. Discouraged workers as part of the active labor market. They still stay in the larger labor market, so that which is where the Fed produces its economic policy. But since they're discouraged, we no longer count them in running against the unemployment rate. It's interesting that the last few times that type of unemployment reporting has happened occurred between January 2009 and January 2017, when our current president was vice president, and between January 1977 and January 1981, when our current president was a sitting senator from the great state of Delaware, which has always been known as an economic powerhouse and a great training ground to either be a used car salesman or president of the United States. And between January 1993 and January 2001. So during those periods of time, the discouraged unemployment, those who are considered discouraged, those people that report that they are looking for employment but have not found it, is not reported in the unemployment number. A basic read of who is unemployed gives you the feeling that you should probably look closer at that number and find out that it's higher, and it's much closer to a recessionary level than before. So in any case, trying to bring a little humor, trying to pep everybody up. I'm impressed that we got Jeff Miller in a collar today, but I'm sure we will see a Kiss or a Metallica Speed of Sound tour t-shirt sometime between now and December. So with that,
That's the plan.
And Anthony, any questions?
We do have one question.
Sure.
It says, is it me, or does the statistics of every 100 people there are only 80 jobs seem false? They have a huge amount of longstanding openings in their field of healthcare, so that seems kind of false to them.
Well, what you have are so healthcare takes about 12% of the current employment in the United States, and so there are a number 80 job openings per every 100 unemployed. That's a large number of job openings. And I'm not denying that there aren't a large number of job openings. What I am saying are that there are 20 states, and this is according to the federal government. So this is according to the Biden administration, that there are 50 states and one territory that fit within their unemployment statistics. Of those 51 regions, 31 of them have more jobs than people who are looking for jobs. And 20 of them don't. 20 of them have fewer jobs than people who are looking for jobs. Out of that 20, California is the second, has the second lowest ratio of openings to unemployed. So that's really where we're looking at it. There's no denial that there are a number of jobs, and pretty much anybody who would like to work has the opportunity to do so in this economy. But the reality would be that, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's the case.
Thank you, Jeff. There are no further questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. I'm cornered into wearing my Led Zeppelin t-shirt on the next call. Darn.
Well, I had to twist your arm sometime.
I know the entertainment is too overwhelming. I'd like to thank you, Jeff. And as Jeff mentioned, please reach out to our state elected representatives, Assembly Member Sabrina Cervantes and Senator Richard Roth, for any questions that you may have from their offices. And the information is on the screen. Before we jump off the call, I just want to point out a few folks that are on the call today. I see Kimberly Davidson from the city of Wildemar. I'm wondering how's the weather out there in the city of Wildemar, Kimberly?
I'm sure the weather in Wildemar is great, but the weather in Hawaii is even better.
Good.
Chris Miller's here too.
Hey, Chris. Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. I'd also like to point out Linda Pearson is on the call from the ever important Corona Regional Medical Center. And we're looking forward to partnering again with the medical center and just a great working relationship with them. as I mentioned before, Corona Mayor, West Peak, thank you. Representatives from Sabrina Cervantes' office, Assembly Member Sabrina Cervantes is Brad West. Wave. And from Senator Richard Roth's office, and I hope I don't pronounce your last name wrong, Kimberly Saron. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you. Annette DeMont from the representing the Riverside County Education Department, and Norco College President Dr. Monica Green, and I think that's it. So with that, I want to thank today's sponsor again, CNC Development. They approach every project with long-term goals in mind, quality design, construction. They ensure that developments will remain successful far into the future. You can learn more about them at c-cdev.com. That's c-cdev.com. And if you'd like to sponsor next week's meeting or meeting in the future, please contact the Chamber. Please join us next week, January 12th, as we will start bringing some of the critical legislative updates as the bills start flowing through Sacramento. Thank you, everybody, for attending. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.